Hey everyone, it's Cassie.
It's Espy. We're best friend-in-laws. We've got some shit to say.
I'm ready, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Hey bestie.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Same.
It's been okay. I mean, it's just same old. I don't want to keep saying work and school, but it is what it is, and that's why we're using this as our outlet to get away from work and school and kids and chores and driving and the mundanes.
The daily life of a mom.
That's basically
And
what it is.
and,
Working mom.
To survive in the world with the economy.
But at what point do you say, like, oh, hey, how are you doing?
Surviving.
Do I have to keep saying good?
I know. No, for real. I mean, I feel like this week's been a struggle for me.
What's going on?
Just, mentally. It's been one of those mental weeks where it's like, calendar's full. I know I can get it done. But at the same time, like, I'm just exhausted. And I literally had my iron checked, and I'm not low on iron. So
it's just
go.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like today was a nice break in the schedule where we didn't have, like, multiple things to do. Mm-hmm. But this is something to look forward to now, which is kind of nice for the two of us.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Where are your kids at today?
They are with their dad. So it is dad's time now.
Okay. Switch offs are good.
Switch off day. So for me, that's just more like a decompression of everything. I head straight over here though, because I was like, if I go home, I'm not gonna want to leave.
I know what you mean. I was like, all right, what are we doing? What's for dinner? Mm-hmm. And what time are you coming?
Yeah, literally.
Because even when we don't have children, we're still on a schedule.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch back on the last two episodes that came out and the feedback that we've gotten.
Yeah.
That was really nice. The amount of love that we've received and the comments, the reviews, the likes, the shares, it's been awesome. I'm very grateful.
I was so nervous. But then I was like, okay, like, people can relate, or, like, they hear me, and...
Yeah, like, I was definitely, like, I'm gonna bear all right now, and people are going to hear it, and it's gonna go to the internet, and it's, like, messing with my emotions of, like, I can't take this back. It's out there now. But it was really well received, so I'm grateful for that. How did you feel after your episode came out?
I was nervous, but I also was just like, like, it's the truth, and that's all that matters. And I still, like I said in the episode, like, my past doesn't define me and who I am, and I feel like people can relate to that.
Yeah. I feel like everybody wanted to give you a hug.
Yeah.
In some sort of way or another. And that's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for sympathy.
Sympathy, yeah. I already worked through that in therapy, so.
You have graciously gone through therapy. I have not. I need lots of hugs.
There you go.
Thanks. And hugs from all the other listeners that have chimed in because, you deserve your flowers. You have been through a lot. I have been through a lot. We always say, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So, we just want to be able to say shout out to all the listeners for taking the time to listen. I mean, we're taking 30, 40 minutes of your day, and it means a lot to us because, we wanted to be able to connect, even though we were bearing all. We wanted to be able to connect and so that way who you're listening to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it definitely was just like a little intro still because I feel like we didn't go into depth with everything. And I feel like the more people listen, those little topics are going to come back and there's something for them to go back to listen to if they didn't catch that episode and want to go back. because I know sometimes, like, I fall behind, but I want to, on my podcast that I listen to,
Yeah.
but then you're like, oh, wait, I missed something, so then
back around.
I have to loop back. And
Yeah. Well, plus, I feel like a lot of the things that we went over left some cliffhangers.
Mm-hmm.
Of if you want to know more, if you have questions like, hey, wait a minute, but you didn't go into this or you didn't go into that, please write in, let us know. Or if there's anything that we said that was relatable content and you want to hear more about
tea.
that. Yeah, tea too.
Got the tea.
We have plenty of ingredients for the tea. But if there was something that maybe we could help you with because it was relatable, we can definitely touch into that sooner than later. And so I wanted to be able to just put that out there for everybody. So
Definitely.
big thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So I want to get into friendship after kids.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I have a story, actually, for that. As we know, I had my first kid at 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved back from San Jose, had my own apartment. I want to say Emma was, like, baby, like 3 months old. An old friend of mine, you know, that I was really close to, like a best friend at the time of my life, wanted to come over. And she came over, and
I was going to say guy or girl.
it was a girl.
Okay.
And she wanted, my aunt does hair, so she wanted a trim.
Okay.
So I took her, and she ended up crying because she felt like my aunt took off too many inches, like her head, you know, needed a trim.
Okay.
And my baby's crying now in the back seat. We're driving home from the salon.
Okay.
And then I have my best friend at the time crying, and I'm like, I don't care about your hair right now. Like, my baby's crying.
Yeah.
She's hungry. Like, can you sit in the back?
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, you know. And I think after that point, I kind of, like, stayed away from, like, friends.
Okay.
And I drew away from that because I was nervous to take my kids around anyone, like, that didn't have kids, because I feel like they couldn't understand at the time, at the age group. Because think about it, like, not every 19, 20-year-old's having kids.
Right.
And I was in that group of friends, because I've had many different variety of different friends.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first one to have a kid in that, like, group.
Okay. So you had to cut ties.
Yeah.
What did you say? Did it come up in a conversation, or did you kind of just gradually?
It kind of just came gradual, like, we just didn't see each other.
Okay.
And then barely messaged each other.
Mm-hmm.
Until a few years ago, I would say, when obviously we're older. My kids are older, but then she became a first mom.
Okay.
So now, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, like,
motherhood.
We have something in common again.
Uh-huh.
But again, now my kids are, like, past the diaper stage, and she's barely in the diaper stage, so it's still, like, juggling that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I have some other friends that don't have kids that are like the Theas to my kids. You know, like, they
the
don't,
rich aunties?
Yeah. They don't care that they have to come to my house and we can only be at my house.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they don't mind doing that.
Okay, that makes sense. So naturally you guys fell apart from each other, and then naturally you guys gravitated back towards each other. So how long before you decided that, like, I'm not going to have friends for a while?
I don't know if I fully decided. I think I just dove into motherhood and, like, my
Dedicated.
relationship and family. That's all I was ever really around.
Okay.
I didn't have time to go meet up with anyone.
Yeah.
I would say not until my separation from my kid's dad. I reached out to some old friends. They were doing, like, Bible study, and I loved that. And so I was like, I need to dive into that. And that's where I realized, oh, I can have friends and be a mom.
Because at some point you still have to realize that you are more than a mother. You are still Kassie.
You know, my therapist says, who's Kassie? And I'm figuring that out, guys, because this is my new hobby. This is something, like, I feel like I'm doing for me. And I would say before I didn't have a hobby or know who Kassie is besides a mother.
Yeah. A chauffeur. A cook. Those things don't count. That's not Kassie.
They're like, what do you do for fun? What's fun?
A drink in hand, usually, but that's without children. It's one of the only times that we get to be ourselves, and then what do you do when you're not with your kids? You sit and you miss your kids. And you think about your kids, and you call your kids. I completely get where you're coming from, and I had a similar incident like that. Because I got pregnant so early, 17, had Lorenzo at 18, I had a best friend in high school who we started to drift kind of anyways. Like, it was, we're graduating, we're going our separate ways, life is beginning.
Yeah.
But we had nothing in common anymore. I was home late night feedings, changing diapers, and she was in the club. Till the crack of dawn, you know? Like, there's me not getting sleep versus her not getting sleep for two different reasons. And I couldn't go out. I didn't have that. I mean, even though it was, like, the 18 clubs or even just, like, house parties or whatnot, I couldn't do that anymore. I had a whole different responsibility. But I do give her a little bit of grace because she would come to see me and maybe bring me food or just spend time with me for a few minutes, but it never lasted long until eventually we just kind of drifted, and I wasn't surprised, I wasn't shocked, we just didn't have anything in common anymore, and we didn't loop back around again until me and Jesse started dating.
Yeah. I was going to say, your divorce party or what?
No, actually, she was the person that we had in common from the quince.
Oh, okay.
And because we had someone in common, you know, she was starting her life at that point with having children, and it was a housewarming party, I remember, and because we had her in common, we went together, and it just felt like, well, you know what, we share the same friend, we'll go, you know, give her a gift and, you know, and show love, but it just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same person. Years had gone by, so how do you reconnect and rekindle on that, right? Like, that's okay. Sometimes you gotta call it a loss, and
and then you have the friends, like, I have my two friends, gosh, since middle school. They've actually been best friends for 20 years. Before me. I'm almost on my 20 mark with them. But we can literally go months time not talking, nothing, mute. And we have a group chat now, and we'll send a text and we'll hang out, and it's like we never skipped a beat.
But those are friends that I feel like are how you say,
low maintenance friends?
Low maintenance. That's a really good word for that. No, it is, because it's definitely like a complete understanding of, like, I'm busy, you're busy, we are busy, and I'll just check in with you to make sure you're still alive. Yeah. And that's okay. Yeah. Like, that's an understandable friendship, because that gives me enough space to do what I got to do without feeling guilty that I am not talking to you every day. I mean, and then we have our meme friends where that's what we do. We communicate through memes
and reels.
That's the new way of having communication with friends. It's not always easy to take the time to go sit and have coffee. Yeah. And nights out aren't as easy as coffee either, because you actually have to take the time and get a babysitter or, you know, plan around our co-parenting schedules, or it's just not. And then you have the people who don't co-parent. They actually are a couple, and they have to get a babysitter because they're still together and raising children, when it's like, oh, well, the day that you get a babysitter is not the day that I have I have my children on that weekend. Like, it's a mess. Yeah. It's hard.
I really like, though, that we have our weekends, like, the same with our kids.
That was so coincidental.
It wasn't chosen that way, but it happened.
The gods were in our favor.
Now we're like, oh. And it's not only you, it's my other friend, too. Her weekends are, like, aligned with ours, so I'm like, yay.
So, yeah, how do you say, little disclosure.
Yeah.
If you see us out having a good time, is because we don't have our kids.
Mm-hmm.
No judgment zone. When we turn off the mom switch, it's
turned
done.
off.
It's time to find who Kassie is.
Yeah. And I mean, I might be dancing on that floor, but it's okay.
We love a good dance. We love a good marg. That's a good one, though. I wonder how many people feel that same way, to realize that it's really hard to maintain a friendship after parenting, because it's either you meet people on the soccer field,
mm-hmm.
or you're basically becoming friends with your own family because that's all you have. You don't, you can't get away from that circle.
It like isolates that, and that's something that I try to always make sure, like, I love my family, but they're my built-in friends.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you need to have that outside person, because then your circle, it's good to have a small circle, but at the same time, how are you ever going to evolve? And if you stay in that circle, when you're evolving, you're going to be like, wait, I don't really want to be in this circle with this people.
You don't match anymore.
You don't match, and you need to keep going.
Yeah. Especially when you hit big milestones in your lifetime. Are those people still applauding for you?
Yeah.
And if they're not, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Or they may be applauding for you and then behind your back.
Oh, yeah.
And you won't find that out until it's too late. And then that's an ugly way to end a friendship. If you're not going to help me straighten my crown, I need you to leave from my table.
Yeah.
Because I'm building a life that I want to see everybody eat.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see everybody grow. There will never be a time where I'm going to watch someone fail and then just be like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
I just can't do that.
Well, you failed, but guess what I'm doing?
Right. Sucks for you, but I'm good. Does this same topic affect men?
I think so.
Do you think that it's hard for dads to have that circle of friends after parenting?
No, I would say they would have probably the same circle of friends, but limit the hangouts.
Or at least maybe they should.
Or should.
If your lifestyle has not changed after children, you're the problem.
Yeah, I would say I seen that in, like, my relationship. In the beginning, I was like, okay, you're hanging out with your friends this day with me, and then even when we have the kids, he was like, oh, well, so-and-so wants to meet up, like, I'm gonna go, and then I was home with, like, the kids, and at that time, he didn't have a custody arrangement, really, with his son, so, like, I would have my kids full-time, especially in the beginning, because their dad worked out of state, and then I'd be like, you have a family now, like, you live here, that got to slowly go, and it did.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
that's big moves.
That's a big move, and that showed, like, the effort. It's like, hey, this was an issue for me.
Yeah.
But you fixed that. So I think dads do have that, because they're like, man, I want to hang out with the bros, but now I have all this responsibility.
Yeah.
And if they're able to switch that light off when needed to be, I think that's a great thing.
Family life is a big change up. Like, you really have to reprioritize everything that goes on around you. But there are plenty of people that I've witnessed, like, wow, don't you, like, have a wife and kids? Like, how are you still living your life up to the fullest? I don't know. I don't know that I could associate with that, because your priorities are not right.
Yeah. And I think it's an issue when even couples, not just the man, but even women, they're like, babysitter, so they can just go here, and always have plans with people. Like, no, at what point is that, like, enough? Like, you got to think about your work week, how much time. Like, yeah, we all need time away from the kids. Yeah, I get that time away from my kids when they're with their dad. But at the same time, people that don't get that because they are with their partner need to still balance, like, their going out is not priority to, like, staying in with the family and having a movie night.
Right. Or, like, yeah, making more time. If you want to go out and have a good time, try to work in ways to have your family all together at the same time. There has to be a lot of balance. There has to be, even as a mom, like, you have to have your girl time. You have to have your husband time or your partner time. You have to have your one-on-one time with your children. And then you need to have one-on-one time with yourself.
Yeah.
That's a big one. You have to be able to prioritize yourself as well. And sometimes you have to be able to tell people, like, no, I'm going to stay in today. I need a me day.
And I've canceled plans with friends where I'm like, okay, I don't have my kids this day. Let's do a girls' dinner or something. And I'm like, literally, I don't want to do nothing but be in bed. So I will cancel them.
Can we
stay in bed?
Can we make that a normal thing? Can we embrace the fact that sometimes like, okay, yeah, I made the plan, but I should be allowed to say, I'm not going to come. I'm not up for it. I don't even really want to have to explain myself. I just want to be able to say, like, past Espy was in a great mood and really, really wanted to go and was extroverted. And now I just really want to recluse and, like, be in pajamas. Yeah, sometimes that happens. That's okay.
I have one friend, actually, she'll, like, come over in her pajamas and we'll literally
Pajama day.
Just sit on the couch, or even I'll be like, hey, she's going to just me and her TV in the room and just watch TV and eat snacks.
Even if you're in the same room but on your phone separately, you're still with somebody. Like,
yeah. There's those times, too, we'll be like, oh, wait, we should probably look at the movie we put on, but we're just scrolling.
Like, I sent you a meme. You're, like, right next to me.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's a good dynamic to have when somebody who is understandable enough to say, like, understanding enough to say that, like, I do want to socialize, but I don't want to socialize. That, and you're like, yeah, I get that. I want to do that too.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to ask you a question based off something that happened at work today.
Shoot.
Are you a horn dog or a corn dog?
Oh, what the fuck? Wait, a horn dog?
Yeah,
or a corn dog?
Or a corn dog. Okay, so I was at work just tapping away, you know. I work in a doctor's office, and one of the girls comes in, and she was like, oh my gosh, I really want a wiener. And the other girl's like, me too. And I was like, oh, I just had a corn dog, like, for lunch yesterday. And they're like, oh my gosh, Kassie, you're so funny. And I was like, what? And they're like, no, like, a man, you know, a wiener. And I said, oh. Yeah, I didn't have that yesterday. I had a corn dog.
Well, they didn't say horn dog. They said...
Well, they didn't say horn dog,
but I'm wiener.
But I'm like, where's your mind? Are you a dirty mind or a horn dog? Like, are you a horn dog? Would you have thought she was talking about a man, or would you have thought she was talking about a corn dog? Like,
I'm a perv. I would have probably been like, get your D, girl.
yeah.
So you're corn dog and I'm horn dog.
Well, I used to think I was a horn dog until I really just didn't think about it.
Until you had a corn dog.
But I'm like,
for
is
lunch.
this because I'm married and they're single? You know? They don't get on the regularly? I don't know.
I mean, maybe they don't, if that's the situation, that she's in the middle of the day craving some wiener.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was like, we're at work.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I need a lot more context behind it, but I would probably be able to guess that she was probably talking about a wiener.
yeah.
Schlong.
I mean, yeah. She was. She literally was like, oh, she like busted up laughing like I was the funniest thing. And they tell me all the time, like, Kassie, you're like naturally funny. But I think it just, I know I have like fake highlights, but I might just be
blonde,
like
blonde.
a little blonde there. Because I really was just like, I had a corn dog for lunch. They're really good. You want one next door?
The ray of sunshine.
We'll walk there and get one. Yeah, but I mean, that's what happens when you have single coworkers.
All right, I'm going to do a blind read. I want to get your reaction on this.
I'm ready.
Okay, what I'm going to read comes from a man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the man's perspective. Man's writing in.
Okay.
All right, my girlfriend and I have been together for about a year. She is by far the most beautiful woman I have ever dated, with an out-of-this-world body. All banging. All of my friends, guys and girls, ask me how did I get her, because they know my exes and it's a night and day difference, which is fucked up because ugly bitches need love too. So, anyways,
I mean, there could have been nothing wrong with her.
But what they don't know is her crazy dark side. When when we are intimate, she likes it rough. I mean, she likes to be rough with me. She chokes and hits. It wasn't so bad at first, but now it's getting ridiculous. The last time we were together, she punched me in the face.
What?
That I can't even keep it together.
Okay.
She punched me in the face. My nose bled and I almost passed out. I screamed, "What are you doing?" And she told me, "Relax and enjoy the ride." Enjoy the punch in the face ride? Like, really? I can tell she's really into this stuff. I'm trying, but I'm really not feeling it. But she's so damn gorgeous. It's a lot to deal with, but how do I keep her in my life? What do you do?
I would leave.
You're out?
I'm out because, like, I don't care how good you are. You ain't gonna be hitting me. And, like, I mean, everyone likes a little, but, like, a fucking choke and a...
Yeah,
like, I
a
mean,
little tug.
I mean, yeah, like, you can tap that ass,
A little
but
rub and
don't be,
tug.
like, punching me. Like,
Yeah.
I would be like, what is wrong with you?
But as a female, do you think that she's just dominating because she can get away with it? Because, like, what are you going to do? Hit me back?
I think so. Either more like because she's a female or, like, testing his boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And because, yeah, well, I'm fucking gorgeous, so I can do whatever I want and you're not going to leave me.
Yeah.
But there comes a time and a place, like, looks can only get you so far in life. I mean, really?
Yeah, I was a little taken back by this because as much as I want to laugh, this is somebody's real life situation.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you either, like, give her a taste of her medicine and be like, do you like it? Do you like it like that? Or do you say, like, listen, you're either going to knock it off or we're done?
Yeah.
And if she doesn't stop, is that your line in the sand? Like, are you done? You're drawing the, like, you're out.
Yeah.
How do you get out of it?
I'd be out. I don't care how damn good you look.
Yeah.
Don't punch me.
How is that hot?
Like, I would, like, how would you even... I would lose interest right away. I would, like, if I was a guy, my dick would get soft. But I don't know if we're allowed to say that.
Why not? We've said wiener.
Wiener. My wiener would be like, just kidding. Like, what ride? There's nothing for you to ride. It's tucked in. It's hidden.
It went to hide.
It's a turtle now. Pretty turtle.
Bitch, I'm scared of you.
Yeah.
Like, I literally thought, like, I would, if I was him, I would probably, like, foot to her chest, kick her across the room. Like, what the fuck what are you doing?
I would literally probably, like,
you're
throw
done.
her off me. And also, like, what's the next level? Like, she's going to bring out her whips and chains. What are you going to do then?
Where does it stop?
Where does it stop?
Yeah, because at some point you're like, okay, yeah, she likes to slap or she likes to choke. Maybe she likes to be choked. But, like, at some point she's just going to keep progressing and progressing and progressing and seeing what she can get away with. And do you want to be black and blue and have to explain that to people?
Yeah.
Like, hey, where'd you get that black eye from?
Yeah. Or imagine, like, if she brought in handcuffs and then there's nothing you can do. And she literally strangles you and you pass out and you wake up. Like, that's...
Or die.
Yeah, and you know people have that obsession about, like, having sex with people that are, like, unconscious. Yeah. Like, maybe that's her goal in the long term. I don't know. You better be careful. Watch out. I'd leave. That would be a no,
red flag.
Red flag. Gotta go. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my friend his beauty standards for his partner are untouchable for him?
So, like, girls that are...
Like, unachievable.
BBL, plasticky, like, just unrealistic standards.
Yeah, like, his standards are really high, but he's, like, he wants, like, a 10, and he's, like, a solid 4.
Are you the asshole for telling him that? No. Because unless he can pull the bitches that he's wanting at that standard, he needs to see the reality that if this is all that you're wanting, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. You have to think about, like, you're going to keep reaching out to these people that might even use you and affect you, like, mentally. Oh, yeah. Like, you can go and be like, oh, well, I want coffee today, and you're bringing them coffee and treats or whatever, and you're still in that friend zone. You're not going to get in that end zone.
Yeah, that's true. I see it happen all the time, and I've never been able to understand that culture of, like, how do you just bat your eyeballs and get whatever you want? I've never understood that.
Yeah.
I hustle too hard to get what I want, to play men to get what I want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it, but girls are really good at it. They can get away with it, and especially they know because there's something pretty to look at. It doesn't mean you have a lot to offer. You're just pretty to look at. But being a friend, does that make you an asshole? No, I don't think so. Would you?
I don't think so. Yeah, I would tell my friend.
Immediately. I'm not looking to watch someone be hurt over and over and over again. I think it's a false narrative. It's just never going to happen. It's like porn.
Yeah.
It's unrealistic. It's never going to happen. Sure, you're into it. Probably want it. Probably not ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Doesn't look like that in real life.
No, fuck no. Do women do that to men? Do they have only a set standard for men? Or do we have a checklist?
I would say I used to when I was younger.
They had to have.
Like, I had some certain, like, expectations. But
some
then...
like, tall, dark, and handsome type expectations, or, like, job, car?
Some of everything.
Okay.
Honestly, I wouldn't care if you didn't have a car, but, like, I wanted you to have, like, nice teeth.
Okay. I mean, that's a green flag.
You know? Or, like, good hygiene.
Green flag.
You know? So, I'd be like, I don't care if you're taking the bus, but you better...
Come smelling good.
Come smelling good and have that Colgate smile.
But, like, had to be 6 foot, like...
I think naturally I used to gravitate towards taller people.
You're tall. To me.
I'm only, well, for you. But I'm really only, like, I used to be 5'4", but I remeasured, and I'm 5'3" now.
Still taller.
And I would say I would probably date 6, 5'9", my high school and middle school.
They were all above that.
They were all,
okay.
Yeah, they were all tall. Until, like, I became an adult, and then I was like, oh, you're, like, 5'5", 5'6", that's normal, like...
Yeah. But I feel like that's...
Not breaking my back trying to reach and hug you.
Yeah. But I feel like that's not unrealistic. I think that the expectations that men have for women is like the itty bitty waist and the big fake butt. Like, that's unrealistic expectations. You can still say, like, oh, I like a shorty with blonde hair. That's acceptable. We can work with that.
Like, you have a type. It's okay to have a type. But
yeah, that's
not
a type.
Okay to have, like,
an expectation.
I
think that's crazy. And how about the guys who, like, splurge to give these women that so that they can be that for them?
Oh, yeah.
Like, sure, I'll buy you your breast. Like, you want big old ones? What you want to go to? I'll pay for it.
I've had an old coworker where she got, like, her tummy tuck and boobs done, and her baby daddy paid for half.
Jesus.
But he also told her, like, like, we're going to be together. And then they split up. And I think in their agreement when they split up was she had to pay him back.
I mean,
half.
Yeah, I would think so. She didn't hold up to her end of the deal.
Yeah. He was like, no one's going to look at that.
Yeah.
With my money. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's to be, I would expect that. Like, listen, I'm gonna need you to kick back my half.
Yeah.
You know what? That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with where I'm at. We'll someday, talk about my boob job that definitely wasn't free.
But
it doesn't mean that I wanted this life. Mm-hmm. Boobs chose me.
Yeah. They chose you.
But I went for realistic. I didn't go for like, oh, I get to pick.
I still forget sometimes that they're not real until I hug you.
Rock hard.
Rock hard.
And cold.
I'm like, oh, wait, I forgot.
and always cold.
You hurt mine.
Yeah, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to another hour of our bullshit.
Make sure you follow us on all of our socials at BFIL.podcast.
You can catch us every week on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Bye, besties!